Is it the 25th yet? July 25th, the Philadelphia Eagles head back to the NovaCare complex. Eagles football is almost back.
Finally!
But the Eagles have been all over the news as of late, and I think that the NFL is just petrified of what this team may be. So I want to go over today two players that I want you guys to watch, one good and one maybe not so good going into training camp. Also, I want to talk about The Athletic saying that one of our drafted players may be the cornerstone of this team. And lastly, we have two of the top 20 players per ESPN that were labeled steals of the last 10 years of drafting. So we're going to talk about it all. Let's talk.
You want Philly food?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So let's hop right into this, man. I'm excited to talk about this. First, I want to talk about The Athletic talking about Devonta Smith. It was in an article. Basically, they were talking about the fifth-year options they felt that were most likely to get picked up. Now, Devonta Smith, they obviously put him here. I doubt that he will not get that fifth year picked up. There has to be some change in the world for the Philadelphia Eagles to not bring that guy back. But they went as far as saying that he is a cornerstone for this team, that he is a guy they feel can grow with this team for years to come. And I agree with it. I think that every Eagles fan, we're having arguments whether him or AJ Brown, when it's all said and done, will be the main guy, when it will be the guy that we look back at as the best wide receiver of this group. I love both of them. I love what Devonta Smith brings to this team. They brought up his size. We'll get to the quote in a second, but they brought up his size and how he was able to kind of quell those worries, right? A lot of people were worried that, hey, he's so small and the NFL is going to get bullied. He has not gotten bullied at all, you know, and they made the comparison, which I've seen a couple of times, to Marvin Harrison, and that's incredible company to keep. Obviously, it's with his man-beating ability. He's just different. He is just different. The route running, the man-beating ability, you can't press him, and he's only like 170, you know, and I think I'm being a little bit generous there, and you just can't outstrength this guy. He's a smarter player. He's a guy that's willing to give up his body. We've seen on numerous occasions he's willing to lay it all out on the line, and that's what you want out of your wide receiver one or wide receiver 1B or A, whatever you want to say. I mean, that's what we got. So, you know, look, at the end of the day, I think that Devonta Smith hasn't even really touched his ceiling. I don't know if he's even seen his ceiling, right? He might look up and see an empty roof, because that's how good I think that this guy can be. We've seen what he's done in his first 2 years. Excited to see what he'll do coming up for the rest of his career. I think that we got somebody that we can really hold our hat on. Maybe the first time that the Eagles have drafted a wide receiver, you know, and maybe a hero card. Michael's going to probably argue with that, but there's, you know, this is the first guy I can look at and be like, this guy's going to be here 10, 11 years from now and still be a problem. So excited to see what he becomes. Let's get into that quote. Now, again, if you want to read the whole quote, read the whole article, basically, I definitely implore you to. It was a good article from ESPN. I'm just going to go through the second half of what they said about Devonta Smith. They said the questions about Smith's size were unfounded, as he's been impossible to press or bully in tight coverage. Smith could be this era's Marvin Harrison. He's well on his way to being a legitimate top option and should be receiving his fifth-year option. I mean, I agree with all that. I agree with everything that was said. I think that it's very true. We would be very, very remiss. We would be very, I think we would definitely regret not giving him his fifth-year option. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when it comes to actually talking about that contract. That's going to be a little bit tougher, I think, for the Philadelphia Eagles to swallow, depending on where we are fiscally, right? That's really why we did the Jalen Hurts stuff. We're trying to be able to fit in other contracts. So shout out to Jalen Hurts for that. But you guys let me know down in the comments, how do you feel about Devonta Smith? I mean, I don't think that there's anybody that would say he wouldn't get his fifth-year option, but if you do feel like that, definitely let me know. Now, next, I want to talk about Jordan Mailata and Jalen Hurts being named as two of the top 20 draft steals over the last 10 years. I mean, this one, I loved it. I'm not going to lie. I think that they hit it on the head. I think that there's some guys that they definitely should have included as well. For those that are wondering, I basically only brought up the 2 guys that were drafted by the Eagles, but also A.J. Brown, Javon Hargrave, and Darius Slay made the list, so in case you were worrying. But I want to talk about our guys, right? I mean, look, those are our guys as well, but I want to talk about the guys we went ahead and drafted. Jalen Hurts was probably the most polarizing pick in my Eagles fandom history. So, you know, going ahead and drafting a Jalen Hurts at the time made 0 sense. We can go back to the YouTube videos. We can go back to, you know, the actual reaction of fans. People did not know why we were doing that. Obviously, now it looks like a genius move, and they gave him the credit as such. Being drafted in the 2nd round, a guy that obviously the Eagles were high on them. So, look, I mean, I agree with Jalen Hurts. I think that Jalen Hurts was a huge pickup for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm not mad at him being at number 10 on the list. Now, Jordan Mailata, look, he should have been number 5, number 4. He should have been in the top 10, in my opinion. I mean, you got a guy that had never played football. You take him in the 7th round, and he ends up getting a huge contract extension for you and is going to be the face of your franchise for a while. We have been very, very lucky to go from, you know, all pro to all pro to all pro. Jordan Mailata now the 3rd guy in a row that I feel like you look at and you say he's all world, he's all time. So I'm excited to see what he becomes, and that's the craziest part of it. We're talking about how he's a draft steal now. It's still very early in his career, still learning. I feel like he hasn't even really hit his full stride, knows how to take care of his body. These are all things that are very, very important to the position. But my only questions to ESPN is, where's Landon? Landon was, I believe, second round pick, and he's already one of the top 5 players at his position last year. So I mean, he should be a steal. I think that he should have been on this list. There was a couple of other guys. Where's Goddard? Where's Dallas Goddard? Dallas Goddard, I felt like, was definitely a steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. Another guy that's a top 5 guy in his position. I mean, we can go down the list. There's definitely some guys that I think that kind of got snubbed on this. Josh Sweat. Where's Josh Sweat? I mean, there's a lot of guys on this Eagles team that I think should be in that top 50 players, especially of the steals of last 10 years. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of players. So, I mean, that's my bias speaking out. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but you guys let me know, who are some guys on this team that you feel should be in that top 50 players realm, you know what I'm saying, as far as steals go in the last 10 drafts. Also, how do you feel about Jalen Hurts and Jordan Mailata? Let me know in the comments. Now, lastly, I can't leave you with a little bit of drama, right? You know, you got to have a little bit of drama. We're going to do a full video on this probably coming up soon, but I wanted to kind of preface it with this. The Philadelphia Eagles have some training camp battles that need to go well for them. You know, obviously, you're looking at the wide receiver 3 spot. You want to see Quez either step up or Olamide be able to take that spot. You look at the safety spot. You don't really know who your starting safety tandem is going to be. You feel comfortable about, or confident, I should say, about a couple of guys, but you don't really know. But a spot that they really need to go well is going to be the linebacking spot. Now, I want to give you a good and I want to give you a bad, because, you know, I don't want to just give you terrible, but I'm going to start with the good. The good player that I want you to watch this training camp is going to be Tyler Steen. I've heard a lot of good things about him. A lot of people are saying that this guy is for real. They really feel like he can be that guy at right guard for the long term, not just for this year, but they feel he can be that guy at the right guard spot for the long term for this Philadelphia Eagles team. So if that's the case, very interesting to watch. Very positive news for the Eagles if they were able to go ahead and draft their starting right guard. Now the bad, okay? Now the bad. I told you there was going to be bad. And it might not even be terrible. This might be good news, and I'm just kind of wrapping it up as a bad thing. But Nicholas Morrow, I've been hearing a lot of conflicting stories about him. The stories that we heard during the OTAs was that he was the starting linebacker, that he was with the ones when media wasn't there. Obviously, when media was there, it seemed kind of ironic that both times he was not with the starters. He was not there, I think, in the second one, and in the first one, I'm not sure if he wasn't there or he just wasn't running with the first team. Not really sure what happened there, but I'm hearing that he might not even get the start. He might not even be in that starting group come training camp, come start of the season. So a little bit worrisome, because who are we going to have, right? I know that people are a little bit excited about these young guys that we have, and I am as well. Nakobe Dean is probably the guy that we all look at and say he should be there, right? He should be there. Maybe a guy like Davion Taylor steps it up finally and is able to take a spot. There's some guys on this linebacking core that I'm a little bit nervous about, and the fact that, Morrow, a guy that is a veteran and has played some football in his career, is not kind of just already making his name known. It does get me kind of worried. You let me know if you think I'm bugging. Are you worried at all? Are you worried about the linebacking spot? Is a different spot on this team something you're worried about? Let me know. But as always, if you guys enjoyed that content, please be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're on the road to 5K or 10K. We're past 5K. I fell asleep. But no, we're on the road to 10K. Would love for you guys to join that ride. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. My ducks are over here. Maybe they'll say peace too. Peace.
Eagles fans everywhere. This is for you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call them